15 minutes now before the hour. There is explosive new information now. In the botched Fast and Furious gun running program, documents revealing that federal agents picked up a top drug cartel suspect targeted by that operation, but let him go after he pledged to cooperate and stay in touch with investigators. Good luck with that. Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz serves on the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. And, sir, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill.
What do you make of this revelation?
This is real troubling. I mean, we're being slow-walked by the Department of Justice. The Obama administration is still not giving us all the documents. But here we have a revelation that in May of 2010, we have apprehended somebody who's committing a crime, 74 rounds of ammunition hidden under a tire in his car as he's trying to cross the border. The agent in charge of Fast and Furious is called in. She meets with them. She writes her contact information on the top of a $10 bill and says, please call me when you come back to town. They had already moved hundreds of weapons out of Fast and Furious. Meanwhile, there are nearly 1,000 additional weapons that go out to the door. And then we end up having a dead agent in December, and then we are able to apprehend him back again in February. So it just begs more questions than it answers.
But the question of this, it still comes back to why. Why would he be allowed to go free?
I don't know, and that's the question that we want to ask. Remember that the Obama administration is holding 80,000 documents. According to within the Department of Justice, we have less than 8,000 of those documents, less than 10% of those. So we've always had this question, why did this happen? How do we prevent it again? Is there a cover-up? And that's what I think I am increasingly concerned about.
In the hypothetical, if the idea was to allow people to transport guns and lead them to bigger fish, and had it worked in this case, I mean, these agents would be claiming victory, right?
Well,
you wouldn't have a problem with that, would you?
Well, Manuel Salas Acosta, who was one of the main suspects, was one of the big fish. So why did we let him go? He'd already committed a weapons violation by trying to transport ammunition across the border. They had already surveilled him committing a lot of these crimes, allegedly. That's the core question here. Why did they continue to let this go to the point there were nearly 2,000 weapons? You have 300 people dead in Mexico, according to the Mexican authorities. We have a dead U.S. agent at the other end of these guns. So, Bill, why did this continue on so long? That's one of the questions we're trying to get answers to.
You've been looking at the story now for how long?
Well, for a long time, too long. And the problem
is it a year? Is it a year or is it 2 years? What's the timeline?
Oh, no, No, it's well over a year. Remember, it was back in January of 2011 when you actually had Senator Grassley present a document to Eric Holder questioning about this. The problem is on February, Senator Grassley got a letter back denying that they did anything like this. They flat out lied about it. And that's why it smells like a cover-up and why the Department of Justice has to come clean and provide those documents to Congress.
I got you. So you've been on this case for more than a year. What is your hunch? Were they trying to build a bigger case? Or was there some sort of political agenda behind this?
Well, that's increasingly what we're worried about is why are they slow-walking us on this document? We have issued subpoena after subpoena, 22 categories of subpoenas. On 13 of those 22 categories, we've gotten 0 documents, not even one. Have to comply with subpoenas. That's the way this country works. That's why we have a separation of powers. And so far, the Department of Justice has not provided those documents required under the subpoena.
Jason Chaffetz, we'll see at what point you get them, if ever. Thank you for your time today. To our viewers at home, what do you think?